is the Comfortably Poor Podcast. An uncensored, wide open, anything and everything goes podcast. You won't find anything like it. And why is that? Because the Comfortably Poor Podcast keeps it 100. Let's go.
Oh, one of my favorite things to do.
It's good to be back.
Talk shit on a live platform. Always the best thing. How are you,
How
fellas?
you guys doing? Yeah. Thanksgiving just wrapped
I'm
up.
good, bro.
Thanksgiving is over, thank God.
I'm good.
Even though I wasn't in America for Thanksgiving.
Are you not a holiday fan?
You know what? I like holiday moments, but I don't like the stress of the holidays. I don't like the stress of running around doing this, that, and that. I kind of feel like if I had a lot more money, I would be able to fucking, do more and not stress as much.
Yeah. No, I get that. That's always the
Are you
most
always
frustrating.
down in Australia during the holidays, or is this your first year being in in Australia for the holidays?
This is definitely not my first year of it, but am I always here? No. I'm here when I can be.
You guys got when you're back, like for you guys when you're back home, like Dan, you're here in the States, obviously, but are you guys big family people? Like you guys do the big family thing?
We used to be bigger in the family when my grandfather was alive and when my grandmother was alive. Nowadays, definitely not.
What about you, Dan?
I always kind of grew up in a really small situation, so it was like my mom, my brother, then my stepdad ended up coming in later, so like we would only have a big celebration for like New Year's maybe, but like other than that,
Y'all get buck
we just
wild,
used
just
to every
party,
year
get
my-
drunk.
yeah, nah, that's what it was. Puerto Ricans slamming dominoes on the table loudly while they're drinking their Coors Light, their fucking can of Coors. That's just the typical fucking old Puerto Rican like standard at the party. So I love it. But no, my mom makes right, it's a Puerto Rican dish, arroz con gandules, is rice and
Did you just sneeze?
What?
Sure.
I didn't understand what you said. That's why.
I know. That's why I was explaining it
it's
to
a
you
food, bro.
for the white devils. Like,
You got you.
I got you covered, bro. Don't worry. You've been filled in. You know what I'm saying? But it's rice and peas. There's some ham in there, and then
Sounds
she
delicious.
makes roasted pork shoulder, which is a common
Puerco
common
asado.
thing. Then pernil.
Okay.
So I actually made pernil for my first time, like by myself last year for Thanksgiving. Yo, and just fuck that shit up. They were like, holy shit. No, they were some happy people. It was a good time. Yeah, it was always small for me. We would have a meal together and we would just eat separate. We just really weren't like that, we just did our own thing. Of course, we woke up to the Christmases a couple times, and then my mom was a single mom, so she couldn't keep doing that shit. And we were just slowly realizing, I'm watching South Park at 9 years old, so At this point, I know fucking Santa's just a sham, you know? It's just a fucking... I didn't have a very long childhood.
I hear you.
It was shattered, my friend. But I'm okay with that. I'm totally cool with that. It's made me the person that I am today. That's why I fuck with that. But the New Year's parties and or like I'm trying to think if we would do anything for Christmas. Sometimes we would go for Christmas, I think, but most of the time we used to go in the summer. And my grandpa was the only person in the family that had a pool.
Oh shit!
So we would all go over there and chill and it was an above ground, so the parties were held there and shit. It was fire.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? Party with some Puerto Ricans. I'm telling you, life change.
Oh, I already know. Oh, I already know.
Oh no, I know you know. I know you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've dived. You've dived in our oceans.
Oh shit! Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, it's good stuff.
Can't come back from that shit.
Yo, my man. How's life treating you over there, man? Like, what is it like with your daughter? How does she take the holidays?
My daughter.
You guys do the whole Santa thing or whatever?
Yeah, but my daughter grew up knowing Santa doesn't exist. Like, it's kind of funny because
so you didn't lie to her from the jump, right?
Nah, like it was twofold, right? So there's a couple of things. The first thing is this: Thanksgiving is not celebrated in Australia. That's the first thing to always remember. I think a lot of people forget that.
Got you. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have that. And then after that, but we do still have the whole holiday season, you know what I'm saying? Because there is Halloween. There is some sort of national holiday over here. I can't remember what it is. I think. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure there's some sort of national holiday. And then, of course, there's Christmas. Jewish people live here, so Hanukkah's a thing.
Right.
So it is and then, of course, the Muslim population have their holidays in this general time. So it is the holiday season, but we're missing Thanksgiving. So the thing is with Tamara, with my daughter, she's a big Christmas person. She's been counting down the days to Christmas ever since October 1st. She's big into Christmas. And we actually put up our tree last night. We put up our tree last night, and that was cool. We had a good time with that, putting up the tree, putting ornaments on it. Nice and fun. Had some snacks, had some fun. She got to stay up past her bedtime a little bit. So it was good.
I love that. I love that.
So that's good. But you know what, though? The older you get, like, you it's so shocking how much stuff seemed like you might have thought it was for you. Or maybe not for you, but you might have thought it was for the whole family.
Yeah.
But really,
No, I know what you mean.
Nah, dude, this shit is for the kids, bro.
That shit's for the
children.
kids, bro.
This shit is for the children, bro.
Well, but at some point, okay, it turns into being for the kid when the kid can remember it.
Right.
Because to me, I think it's so ridiculous. It's for the parents when they go all out for the first year and the second year. When they go all out like that, that's for the parents. That's for the family. It's an excuse to get drunk, and it's an excuse to get more gifts for the kids, and and it's for you to have a memory of you doing it. It's never
when
a
did you
fucking.
guys stop
It's never
believing in
for,
Santa?
Oh, I wanted to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. So the Santa thing, right? Okay, so we always talked about Santa Claus. Santa's not going to bring you anything
Your
for
volume
Christmas.
keeps going up, bro. I'm sorry.
Is it mine? Mine?
No, not yours.
Oh, sorry. No, but okay. So Tamara always grew up saying, Santa's not going to bring you anything for Christmas. Santa Claus this, Santa Claus that. But here's the thing, though. There would also be times where, like, Tamara, what do you want for Christmas? Dad has to do this. Or what do you want for Christmas? Mom has to go get this. oh well, I want this and this, and like what? But we have to buy this, so you probably shouldn't spend that much. Like there was a sort of rationalization right alongside the whole Santa Claus talk.
Wow.
It was almost like Santa Claus was known to be a joke. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my
and there was no actual. It wasn't like in America where you go sit on Santa Claus's lap at the mall on some sort of fake sleigh. Santa Claus is just an idea, something you see on TV. You read about it in books. You don't go see Santa. There is no Santa. Santa is just something you say. So I would just, you better act. You better stop, or Santa's not going to bring you any gifts.
To your daughter?
That's how she grew up believing it. No one explained anything.
Right,
She never really. She always knew that Santa was just an idea. It's not an actual thing. Like she knows where her gifts come from. They don't come from Santa Claus. They
So
come
what?
from us.
So how did that go in school for her? Has she? I mean,
No, I think
kids
it's that
are
way all
obviously believing it. So
No, they're not. That's what I'm telling you. That Australia is not like
so
America.
not there.
No. It's
Yeah.
weird. No.
Wow. I wonder if that's how it is in like
And I want to say something.
UK
though.
and Canada and shit.
I don't want to make it seem like people in Australia that there aren't kids here who do take Santa seriously. There are kids who I'm sure take Santa Claus seriously somewhere.
For sure. It's like
but
anything else.
Not
It's like anything
where
else.
I am out here. Nope, these kids don't.
But they love the Halloween thing. They
But they love
trick or
Halloween,
treat
yeah.
and shit, or is that like a thing, or is that just an American tradition?
They trick or treat, yes. But I think they do it more in the big cities. They don't do it because I'm not in the big city. I'm in small town, sort of. They don't do it in the small towns so much. What they do is they do like the parents organize stuff for the kids, and the kids kind of like gather together at a house and have like a Halloween party. And they exchange. It's kind of like baby Christmas. They exchange gifts and stuff, but Halloween gifts like candy and all that sort of shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what about?
What
for
about?
you
Are
guys?
you a family?
When did you guys?
Do you hang with your girl's family, or what do you do for your holidays now that you're older and you do your own thing? Adam?
Me? Adam? Oh, Adam.
Oh,
Adam.
Yeah. Like back to Thanksgiving, we keep it super small. And then Christmas is kind of the same thing. Like my dad's side of the family is hella small. It's not hella small, but we keep it small. My mom's side of the family though is much larger, but they're also much older. We're all grown, all have, all my cousins have families and they all have 2, 3, 4 kids of their own. They're all doing the family thing. So it's like,
Your sisters
they
fuck
get
white men
together
only?
do what?
Do your sisters fuck white men only?
Well, I only got one sister and I don't know much about her. I'm pretty sure her baby daddy is
Oh,
white dude, but he's a crackhead.
Oh no.
Oh no, but she's the one. Oh, she's the one who's
My sister is a heroin addict. somewhere in
she's the
Washington
heroin
State.
addict, right? She's out in the fucking.
Yeah, she lives in a tent
Out in the
somewhere
middle of nowhere.
in fucking Olympia, Washington, the armpit of fucking Washington. And
The
I'm not
armpit
talking
is the
shit,
cap,
that's
but
just
the armpit's
facts.
the capital though.
It is. It's still the armpit of Washington.
Wow.
But yeah, no, my family is. We keep it simple, man. We go to my aunt's house. We hosted it here last year, but we're taking care of some things around here this year that we're not gonna do it here. But we'll be at my aunt's house and we drink a shit ton of wine. My aunt and her husband, my Uncle Mike, they're big wine drinkers. So we drink a shit ton of wine and we just have like a big buffet of food. We don't do anything like people do prime rib or do ham or turkey again and shit like that. We just do a big buffet of like wings and potato salad, and my cousin makes these bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers. We do a big like buffet of all this like.
That's
finger
hard.
foods. It's a good time. Yeah.
Are you a
And
big
everybody
wine
just picks
guy,
their
fellas? Both of you?
I like wine.
I don't really like wine.
I don't
Wine is
hate it.
like sour juice to me.
Well, I would say. Oh no!
I became
I
a
wanted
big
you.
wine fan
You
over the
asked
last
about
couple
Santa,
years.
so we got to go back to that in a few minutes. By the way, so.
Yeah.
But
What when did you guys stop talking about, like, thinking about Santa, though? Like, do you guys remember when there was a time when you were like, fuck, this is my mom and dad, what the fuck?
Well, I'll let Dan go first because there's some weird stories about that with me and my little sister and Santa Claus.
That's why I said earlier, I will tell you, the Santa thing was gone really, really early. So I think the last time I remember waking up to gifts, but like I knew it was my mom, and I think we just started realizing, and it wasn't a big conversation. And then, like, I just knew my mom couldn't do it, so, like, we started getting our gifts in advance when, she was able to get them. And then, like I said, I made a joke of it earlier, but it was, like, I watched South Park at 9 years old. If you think that Santa is still going to be relevant to a kid watching South Park at 9 and my brother's watching it at 7, and he's the one who put me on, We're shattered. The brain is shattered. There's no Santa. There's no nothing, all right? We're watching Jesus and Santa fight. That's my fucking Santa.
I think it should be over by then anyways. I'm pretty sure mine was like 6 years old, somewhere in that ballpark, like 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6, 7.
And I wrote about this
for me
in a blog when we were doing our blogs, and they'll be back in 2020, so be on the lookout for that in 2020. But for me, it was like a moment where, because Santa's supposed to know what you want, that's like the fairy tale, and it's like, oh, Santa's going to bring you your gifts and yada, yada, yada. So I wake up one Christmas morning, and we didn't have a lot of money. So my mom got a lot of gifts
here
at Christmas time from, like, Salvation Army. She put my name in the hat, basically, or, she put my name on the little tree, and the rich people would come and take a tag off the tree, and they'd buy gifts for whoever's name was on the tag that they got. Well, I was on the tag a lot. My name was on that tag a lot because that's just how I grew up. So it's like I'm like 6, 7 years old. I come down. It's Christmas morning. I'm like, oh, shit, I got a whole stash of gifts under the tree. Yeah, sweet, score. Start tearing into these packages. It's fucking Barbie shit. It's Barbie doll stuff. Like, what is this? And somehow the tag had gotten mixed up, and it put that I was a female. So the people just bought me a bunch of Barbie shit. And yeah, and it was already like wrapped and stuff, so my mom didn't know. She just picked up a bag of stuff. How
did Adam, or did your mom pick up the wrong bag? I mean, how did Adam be confused for a woman?
I don't know that it had the name necessarily on there. I don't know. But it's, yeah. And then I wrote about this too in the blog. It's like, it wasn't even good Barbie shit. There was no like Barbie dream car. It was just like plain ass teacher Barbie with some plain ass fucking suit pants, like pantsuit shit. I was like, this isn't even hot ass Barbie. This isn't even fucking like, it wasn't even good Barbie shit. Like,
I love that story because
I
love that story because the fact that I don't know if it happened when you were a kid or if it happened when you were older, but that thought process. I want to know what that if that thought process happened when you were a kid, or if that's just something you develop over time about it not being the good Barbie. Because if you did have that as a thought as a kid, you were already fucking on it, bro.
Oh no, I don't think I had a thought back then. I think I was more like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I kind of pieced it together as I got older. I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it,
Barbie fucking Barbies were trash.
Yeah.
No, dude, like being like in a poor family lets you know Santa's bullshit pretty. Like, okay, I remember
real quick.
Facts, man.
Yeah, no, because I'm 5 years older than my little sister. So my little sister was 2. I was about 7. But even before then, so I was probably about, I'd say 5 or 6 in that area. Things were starting to get a bit funny. I had a game where I would try. It was really hard for me too, but I was trying to stay awake as long as I could to see if, to see Santa come down the chimney. I wanted to see Santa come down the chimney because that's what always was supposed to happen. Santa was always supposed to come down this fucking chimney, and it didn't make sense to me.
Santa
This
was in the
motherfucker.
bedroom.
Imagine if it was a black guy.
Bro, real
Imagine
shit.
if
Did
it
you
was
see?
a black Santa.
Listen to me, bro. This dude was
You
supposed
would
to be
hear a couple
coming
of
down
pops.
a chimney.
That nigga would die with a fucking Oreo out of his mouth.
Dude, he'd be dying with a gun and a crack pipe, 2 TVs and a DVD. No. Listen. It was weird, right? It was the weirdest thing. Because I would stay up and we had a fireplace.
Yeah.
Fireplace didn't work, though. I didn't really understand that because the fireplace didn't work, the chimney wasn't really working. Or was I?
It was just there for decoration.
It was just there, you know what I mean? So I just hung out by a fireplace. Dude, all the time, there was a Christmas Eve, I fell asleep right in front of the fireplace. Just, motherfuckers found me by the fireplace when they went to go stick gifts under the tree at like 3 a.m. and shit. I'm like, oh, shit. That was the first thing. I'm like, damn, this is some bullshit. To me that was like, damn, that's interesting, but I don't really know. The experiment isn't complete. It could have been them. It could have been Santa Claus. I don't know. Maybe they were helping Santa Claus. All right, fast forward. My sister is old enough to be able to help me out because my sister also is kind of like, I want to see Santa Claus do this shit too. So we both stayed up one year. Try to find out if fucking Santa Claus was doing some shit. But this time, I think we ate too much or something. Because, we would go back and forth to our room, to their room, to our room, to their room. Like, we were sneaking around the fucking house. You were like Superman and shit. And then, I was half asleep on the couch, and I felt somebody come and lift me up. I was like, oh, shit. And then... And then I heard someone say, is he asleep? I'm like, hold up. Hold on a second. Hold the fuck up. This is not right. This is like, Dad.
Pops, why you wearing a red hoodie? What's going on?
Right. Bro, and the thing was, that happened. And a few other times, by now, I just felt like the whole Santa Claus thing was just, I was so doubtful. The next year, I just started doing real fucked up shit every time I saw a person dressed up like Santa Claus. I would start pulling on the beard. and then I would start poking the person in their stomach. And then I would start pulling the red thing down over their head and shit. I was start. Did you pick me up last year? I would say shit that happened that I thought might have been Santa Claus. I was
You
just
started calling your mom and dad out on shit. You're just
exactly. That's how the story came apart, And it came apart for my sister too, and that's kind of how we were like, this is some bullshit. But thanks, Mom. It's all cool, but we're not doing the Santa Claus shit anymore.
You know what I always this is how I know I always was a logical fucking kid. Even when I was young, I always thought, even around the holidays, how can there be multiple Santas? They sound different, and they fucking show up at every mall. It's bullshit. All that stuff stuck out to me when I was a kid.
Let's jump to the phone lines because we got a caller that's got a Santa call. Oh, Sam. Wait, that sounded bad. I didn't mean it's
Santa.
Sam has a call. Yo.
Hey. So, I was about 7 or 8, and I don't remember how old I was, but I do remember that it was the time that the Furby came out.
Oh, no.
So I discovered, yeah, you know where this is going. So I discovered about Santa because my mom, my godmother, and one of my mom's male best friends got really shit-faced one year for Christmas Eve and were wrapping presents. Not only did they run out of wrapping paper, so they had to start using newspaper, but they also got out my Furby and were playing with it, and I definitely heard it.
That's awesome. Look, when your parents are having fun with the presents before you even get a chance to play with it, that's when you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm just down the hall trying to go to sleep. I'm all excited, and then you hear your parents
no, fuck that shit. No, fuck that shit. I want to open that fucking toy, you assholes. Don't fucking open my toys.
And what parents are giving their kids Furbies? That's such a creepy toy.
Passed out. Right? I don't know. I thought the original ones were really cute when I was little, and then I saw the newer ones, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Satanic toy.
But I didn't say anything.
No,
about
all those
anything
toys are
until
fucked
6
up,
months
man.
Later, or
The fucking
a couple
Tickle
months
Me
later
Elmo and the fucking.
I caught my mom being the Tooth Fairy red-handed.
Oh, Tooth Fairy was another one. Yeah. I would have been
Tooth Fairy.
You're gonna drop a $20 bill in my hand, or I'm gonna go take everything out your wallet right now. I'm on to you.
Keep your money. I don't know. Like when I would. I mean, look. I would get like $2, $3, whatever my mom had in cash.
Damn, I got some nickels and some pennies.
I get like $1.
What got $1?
Wow, millennials.
Jesus,
Nickels and pennies. No, my mom said she had a couple singles laying around. She's like, come right here.
Yeah.
Wow. So you could just get little fun bubble gum at the store. That's all you can get with your fucking Tooth Fairy money.
My mom was
your tooth is worth gum.
Your teeth. Yeah. That's awesome. Awesome.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, real quick, while we
Thank
got
you.
you on the phone, then Sam, what was your best gift growing up? What was the best thing you got?
That's really hard. That's really hard. I don't know what my best gift was.
Oh, that's how you know she's a privileged white girl.
I know what my worst gift was.
She said, "I got too many. There's too many. There's too many to list. So many great toys."
Bruh.
Great things. I liked everything. I liked pretty much everything I got growing up. It wasn't anything like super fancy. I never got the dream house or anything like that. But the worst gift I ever got was from my mom's friend when I was about to turn 18, and she gave me this ass ugly butterfly plastic doll thing with like angel wings on it, and I was like, what the fuck? What is it? I looked at my mom and I was like, what?
That's awesome.
What the fuck is this?
And then you packed it back up and re-gifted it a year later to somebody, right? Because that's what you do with the bad gifts. You just re-gift that shit to somebody else.
No, but I did. I threw it away, but I did re-gift my.
She said, "Fuck it, I just threw it away."
I threw it away. I got my sister a key locator one year, and she never fucking used it, so I wrapped it up and gave it to her again the next year.
That's hilarious.
So
that's one of those,
tell the story real quick. Hold on.
Watching late night TV. Key locators.
Tell the story real quick about how your family had the tradition of giving each other like fucked off gifts.
What story?
They would try to outdo each other with the most annoying gift or something like that.
Oh, yes, good call. So my mom and my cousin. So my mom is the youngest out of all 4 of her siblings, and my cousins are the ones who are close to her age. So we were the oldest of before her kid's generation. But my mom and my cousin used to have this fight over who could get their kid the most obnoxious toy. And my cousin had 3 boys and a girl. So my mom got them like some sort of remote control car set or something, and the cars like banged against each other and shit. So my cousin got me, I had to have been like 10, 11. My cousin got me a fucking parrot that repeated everything you said twice in a higher pitched voice.
Oh, I've seen those things before.
I remember those toys. I remember those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you'd see them like in the stores, and people would they'd have the little sensor thing on too. It was like a sensor microphone thing, so like it would also go off if you walked by it. It would go off and say something, but then if you talked to it, yeah, I remember seeing those things. That is an obnoxious toy.
That was, I think actually that might have been, and that was a birthday gift, but that might have been the best gift I've ever gotten.
Man. Entertaining shit.
In general, let's back off the best gifts and worst gifts. Did you guys have a favorite toy in general? Was there something that you defaulted to?
I'm a G.I. Joe's kid.
Anything that was a
Probably
gun or gun related was my favorite toy.
Thanks to Brando, that will work.
Of course it was, Brando.
We really knew what kid you were gonna fucking be, man.
Yep.
Right? I think probably my Barbie phone or something like that.
Oh, see, you got the cool Barbie shit.
No.
Barbie phone was just this little tiny landline thing. It was actually really cool. The Barbie phones that they made were really cool.
I got shitty Barbie stuff.
But they were really also very simple. I don't know. I'm sorry that you couldn't even get. I actually wanted to bring that up. I'm a little upset that Teacher Barbie was in a pantsuit. I think that's a little insulting.
It was straight up Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, she was getting her Hillary Clinton on, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That was who I was going to say. Hillary Clinton, and I was just like, nope, bad taste in my mouth.
Yes. As always, thank you,
dude,
Sam.
I was such a simple
appreciate your
kid.
calls.
Of course.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
Of course. I love you.
I was always such a simple kid. You know, I was I had the that's how I knew I knew what I wanted. This is beautiful. This is going to segue into this conversation. So, I knew I loved doing radio since I was 6 years old. Like, that was my fucking dream. So I had those, like, that FM microphone, that FM toy microphone that would actually go into a frequency. And I just fucking played radio for most of my fucking childhood. I played radio, and I perfected what I wanted to do. And so,
Shameful plug. Check him out on Hot 106 in Gainesville.
Thank you, homie. So I was doing this as a kid, and I was talking about this with I think it was Sam, but I was talking about how much disdain I have for people who don't know what they want to do by a certain age. Like, that really fucking drives me nuts.
For what?
Wait.
Say that again.
You can't
what drives
be
you nuts?
you can't be 21 and 22 not knowing what you want. You have to have some type of direction, yo.
What you want in life, or is that what we're talking about now?
Like, what you eventually want to do with your fucking life, as far as
Okay.
as a career of a vested interest, something that you know that you love enough that you can make money from.
I mean,
I
people
don't
love
think
a
you
lot of
can't
things,
go
but that
through the
doesn't
world
mean-
blind.
People
like,
love a lot of things, but that doesn't
blindly
mean that they
like
can make
that.
money from them, though. That's the problem.
I think the internet has allowed us to make money in any way possible.
Facts, of course. Look at YouTube. Look at the fucking.
How can the internet help you
we've
make
had
money?
this conversation.
How can the internet help you make money as a train engineer?
Well, we're not.
The thing
we're saying it's not so much that it's the internet can help you has allowed people to make money by. I mean, it's specific to what it is. Let's say
You
retail
just said it can
stores,
help
online
you.
retail
No,
stores.
he just said that it could help you make money doing anything, and that's not true.
It can help
The
you
internet
make
can help
okay.
you
So
make money
maybe
via
on the
internet.
lower scale of that,
using common sense.
You don't have to go. You don't have to go to school anymore. You can fucking learn through videos on YouTube about train engineering.
But that's
go ahead and try to apply to a job and use that knowledge.
That I think is the bullshit part of it, though. I think we go too far with this sometimes.
What about online educations too?
Online education is one thing, but education from YouTube videos is a problem. Because we are seeing a lot of these self-administered biologists, self-administered climate change experts from their YouTube video education. And that's just so much bullshit.
Yeah, but
I'm not
obvious.
opposed.
I don't want a surgeon. I don't want a surgeon who's obviously not going to get a job, but I don't want a surgeon getting his fucking surgical information on YouTube.
Or a person getting his advice from a YouTube video educated surgeon. It seems obvious, but society is taking a turn for people, not just people who are getting their education from YouTube videos, but people who are
we're not talking about the same thing,
their
though.
Education from YouTube videos.
Because at 21, somebody will know by 21 that they want to be a surgeon. So we're not talking about that.
Too much further into this topic. Before we jump too much further into this topic, I just want to throw this out there real quick. If you want to get in on this conversation or anything that we have talked about, hit us up 442-244-9900 or toll free 844-997-0775. All right, go ahead. I just want to give people a chance to call in.
No, that's fine. So if you want to be a trained engineer, when you're going to tell me you need to be 28 to know that, 30 to know that, I think that's a little ridiculous to me.
I'm saying that
when I meet people around 25 and I go, hey, what do you want to do? What do you think? Oh, I don't know yet. I meet somebody at 22. Oh, I'm still taking gen eds. I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know what I want to do. Wait, how the fuck? What are you interested in?
So there's a couple things there. I think I knew some things that I wanted to do as a teenager, and I tried doing some of those things in my early 20s. But as I was doing them, I found that it wasn't what I thought it would be. What I had in my head wasn't what it actually ended up being. So I kind of changed directions.
You need to have a couple plans. Logically, you need to definitely have plans.
I think that's part of the mapping, of your education or your technical trade or whatever it might be.
Sure.
Have a couple ideas. What are some things that interest you? I think a lot of people might grow up. I went to school with some people, a buddy growing up in elementary school who knew he was going to be a lawyer and path straight to being a lawyer. Went to Harvard Law School, did some shit at Columbia. Now he's a major lawyer in the state of Washington. Some people just know. Some people have it. They get it. They know what they want. Another kid I went to middle school with was a doctor, became a doctor. And I think those kind of people and you kind of know who they are. If you think back about some of these kids that you were probably in classes with and you find out what they do today, you're just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. That kid was destined to be that. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. But then there's kids myself, if people that I went to school with are like, Adam's doing a podcast, they'd be like, what? I didn't see that happening. I figured he'd be a dope dealer or something
okay, but
they just kind of be
talking
okay,
about
I don't
me
get
too,
it.
exactly, dude. No one from my school would ever imagine me doing a podcast, or probably even they might imagine me doing martial arts on the side, but as a job, they'd probably think of me doing something more science related, and for good reason. That's what I excelled in, and that's what I even now that's a big hobby for me. But it's backwards because my side thing is science and science communication. It's not my main thing. Right, that's not what I gravitate to automatically. But people wouldn't know that from school.
Martial arts makes you your money, right? Your teaching makes you your money.
Yes, exactly. That's also what makes me happy.
And that's my point. But you knew at a young age, right? You knew at what age did you
know?
What age did you know you wanted to actually take teaching on full time?
Well, see, that's the thing. I didn't really. This is what I mean when I say life doesn't work that way. I grew into this. When I was in college, I realized that I was at one point. I mean, at one point I realized I was taking more martial art classes than actual academia. I was in there with an evolutionary biology major
because you love it.
I love both of these things in theory on paper, but which one did I love more bearing out? Well, I was doing more fighting than I was actually doing actual biology. And so I slowly gravitated into fighting. And then I started studying it more. And I switched my classes to online stuff. So I had more time to do more of the studying, what I realized that I wanted to pay more attention to. And then I started over time to get certifications and more certifications. And then I started teaching. I grew into that. I didn't know, like, it wasn't in my bones, like, I'm going to grow up and be a martial art teacher. This is what I'm going to do. I didn't know that from a young age. It's just something that I evolved into.
Right. So
what
with
about
like
you, Adam? So
Dan,
you've done like
you've
done customer service work. You've done. I knew.
So let me say,
look,
my path changed. My path changed because I lost my sight. Ultimately, I wanted to play baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball went to the wayside, and my big passion was cooking. I wanted to be a chef. I was the one class I enjoyed doing in high school was I was that dude in home ec. I was in cooking class. That was my elective. And I enjoyed cooking. I enjoyed being a chef. We had a school here, and I believe it's changed its name now, but it used to be called Western Culinary Institute. And it was one of the biggest cooking schools on the West Coast. And I went there 2 different summers for a high school program that they offered to high school kids. Out of all the fucked up shit I did trying to be a fucking gangster, weed dealer, just hanging out with all the wrong people, the one thing I did do was like I took cooking seriously. And so when I lost my sight, I continued to look into that. I even went and shadowed some chefs at the school as me being blind. And it was great. It was awesome. I learned some stuff. I learned some techniques, and I learned some things, how to do some things blind. But it's a $40,000 school for a 16-month program. So to pay $40,000, all the chefs, and like I even sat down and talked to the head chef. He was like, we don't want to tell you not to, but it's a lot of money, and I don't think you're going to get the full program. It's very visual. You have to watch the chefs doing what they're doing and how they're doing it and this and that. And it's like, you might understand the concepts behind cooking and the recipes and things like that, and all the different courses, but it's like you're not going to get the full benefit. So it just kind of like discouraged me. And then I got more and more discouraged, and I just went away from it. So like my path changed later on in life, and so I kind of fell into customer service, which I hate it in the sense that I feel like it's so stereotypical for a blind person to do customer service, but I really fucking love customer service. I don't want to be so much on the ground level anymore. Like if I do it, I need to be management. I need to be higher up. I feel like my experiences and my level of knowledge is more than just answering the phones. Yeah. So it's like I really appreciate customer service and making sure that I provide good customer services if I'm doing that kind of job. So it's kind of my thing now, but it's not really the direction I wanted to go back in the day.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I always have a tough time because I knew so young. And I knew the honest truth about where the radio industry was going too at a young age. So I knew that I had to have a backup. I knew that I was going to have to fight my way through the corporatism that is the radio industry nowadays. And that was what it is. Like, that's the only reason why I haven't been, or I'm not where I want to be in radio.
Yeah.
That's held a lot of us young broadcasters back. I just unfortunately was born too late. Had
Let's
I been
jump to the
born
phone
just
lines
a
again
few
real
years
quick.
prior.
'Cause we got the big homie Slim on the line.
Uh-oh,
So let's see
My man
what
Slim.
has to say.
Slim.
Yo, yo,
Going
yo.
down, y'all.
What's
What's
up?
good?
What's
homie?
good, big dog?
What it do, players? So look, man, I got a little something. First of all, I got to say, I see what y'all doing. Y'all doing it real big. Y'all high tech
appreciate
now.
it.
I like that.
Thank you, homie.
I'm on my way home from work. I'm in a ride share car, so but I had to tap in though. So with the, I don't know if I'm going back, but with the YouTube thing, you know, learning from YouTube, it's just my opinion. I have learned a lot from YouTube, bro. I mean, when it comes to music production and everything, and everybody, you know, I can't see either, but if I find somebody on YouTube who describes it, the program that I'm using, which is Logic, and there's a lot of people out there that will give you tips and tricks and different ways to mix and all that using Logic, then I learned a lot. Like, I done came a long way. Kane, you know, just from listening to YouTube. So I think it's a great way to learn, man. Me, you know, personally.
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
we were kind of on that sense too. It just depends on what. I think Brando's
What it
argument
depends
was
on the-
more
the-
like the
yeah.
technical side of things, like what you're doing. Like he
Yeah,
brought up the
so-
example of train engineer, but like there's
There-
definitely
there's
things
a-
you can learn from YouTube.
No question about it.
Right.
There's a
So, for
sliding
instance,
line between
I
learning
needed
what
to-
is
I needed
learning,
to
what's
change
education.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I was
Go
just
ahead,
gonna say.
Slim.
Like, instance,
Go ahead, son. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, for instance, my passenger window in my car wouldn't go down, so I just instantly looked on my YouTube. It showed you how to take the door panel off. It was a motor. You just pop out the motor, make sure you don't unplug any of the other cables, and I did that myself, dog.
Yeah.
Blind, like, and I got
Yeah,
it all.
and you can learn mechanics
YouTube
and
for
start
that
your own
industry.
fucking body shop. If you can
Yeah,
really get that experience, get some
Yeah,
old
man.
shitty cars, invest the money, you can watch some videos online, you know, even get a certification, even get a little bit of a certification just to solidify it. And that's it. And you can literally, you know, start a whole body shop and make money in your neighborhood, in your community because of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely depends on the the industry, you know,
what it
because
is.
like I said, I would definitely wouldn't want my doctor learning from, you know, and obviously
Yeah,
it wouldn't
so
work
wouldn't
that
want
way.
a
It
jet
would- you know,
liner
because they need to get
pilot learning from YouTube. Wouldn't want a climate
Exactly, I wouldn't
climate
wanna-
change
That's real.
scientist learning from YouTube. Like, I mean, there's just so
Yeah.
many people. And the thing
But
is,
when
what
it comes
you're
to the
seeing in
arts and
today's
stuff, for
world is
sure.
that people like there are a lot of people who are professing themselves to be high tech people whose education is simplistically YouTube videos. This is where the flat Earth
Right.
movement was born.
Oh yeah.
The flat Earth
Well,
movement is
well,
crazy,
we
but
can
you're
compare
absolutely
that to-
right.
We compare that to like, you know how they call it the slang for like shade tree mechanics versus somebody who actually went to school and ASC certified. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's all the same. You know,
1000%.
I thought that was an interesting topic, though. I was sitting there listening to y'all. Y'all is crazy, man. Y'all some fools.
hey, we appreciate you, Slim. Hey, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for
sharing.
listening,
Hey,
bro.
we-
Really appreciate it.
Hey, we still got a microphone right here for you when you're ready. When you got some time, we still got a microphone right here for you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You know, I gotta jump back on with y'all boys, man. But y'all holding it down, though. It was very entertaining. So I'm sitting here listening to y'all. Y'all crazy.
Appreciate you, buddy.
I'm on the live joint, though. I like that. That's dope.
Yeah. Make sure to share that shit.
Yeah,
If you can.
That's what we're doing, man. That's what we're trying to do. We love the lives because we just like vibe over here, man. We just have a dope ass conversation. It's so cool.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Slim.
Man. It's really, you can tell. All right, man, y'all be good, man. I'm going to keep listening.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Shout out to the homie, man.
Hell yeah.
Slim. Yeah, he calling when he's on his way home from work. Big shout out to the homie Slim.
Hell yeah.
I fuck with that.
But yeah, I think going back to kind of what Dan was saying. I mean, I think at a certain age, you definitely should have an idea what you're doing.
You should have an idea.
It drives me
listen,
crazy.
so I don't want to say look, you need to be solid, because I understand how things go, and I understand that life isn't panned out that way, but you need to have a direction. Like Brando proved my point when he said he had two loves. He was taking more martial arts classes, but he still had his love for biology. And it just happened that he slipped into doing this. But at least he had a direction.
Right.
And if you don't have a fucking direction by a certain age, I'm sorry, you're
well, that's kind of what it drives me crazy when I hear these kids that are doing college, and it's like they're 21, 22 going into their junior and senior years.
Yes,
like,
bro, this is what I'm talking about.
What are you going to college for? It's like, I don't know.
That's exactly the example that I was starting with.
Major. I'm like, what do you mean you haven't declared your major? It's your junior and senior year. What do you mean?
I've seen that. Well, if you haven't figured out what your major is by your senior year, then you're definitely on some serious drugs. But I definitely do know of programs where they'll make you not make you. You can. It's a setup where you do your gen ed courses the first 2 years, you get them out of the way, and then in your junior year, you decide what your major is going to be, so you don't have to worry about your gen ed courses, and you do all of the courses that have to do with whatever the fuck you focused on or decide to focus on. I think that actually is a good way to do it, because I hate gen ed courses, and I would love to get that bullshit out of the way if I could, and then just focus on that shit.
I wish they just got that shit out of the fucking system. Why are you making me redo high school work?
It would, but see, this is part of the reason why I don't like college at all. This is part of the reason why I don't like college.
It's a fucking scam.
I'm more of a trade school person. I'm much more of the certification type, which is why I have certifications today. But the idea of college and all this other stuff, and look, if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not saying get rid of college. I think people who can afford it should definitely go for it. I'm not.
Nope.
But
I've been saying, and like Dan just said,
I am no college person.
Like Dan just said, college is a scam. Wait,
are you saying college is a scam or gen ed courses?
College. No, college. I'm saying college is a scam.
College is a scam.
I'm saying college
they
is
make you pay money
scam.
for fucking classes you already took.
For nothing. You can
suck my ass.
Hold on. Let me clarify this a little bit. Doctors, lawyers. I can understand education being necessary for things like that. You want me to get a communications degree or a business degree? I'm going to learn more if I start at the bottom of a corporate enterprise and I work my way up and I work with the right people and learn from the right people and ask the right questions and read the right books. I can be just as useful as that executive with an MBA from Harvard with no fucking
1,000%.
degree. No fucking degree. And no goddamn debt.
1,000%.
Nothing. College
I agree
is
with that.
a scam. And I'm someone that went to college. I'm
shit.
someone that went to fucking college. I have my degrees. And it's a goddamn scam.
Are you in debt? Are you still paying on student loans?
No, but
he just got his student loans.
I got them wiped out because I paid for some programming through the state of Oregon. So, but at the time when I got them wiped out, I still owed $37,000 off $50,000. So I paid down $13,000.
Oh my fucking God!
Yeah, and I got an associate's from University of Phoenix online, and I got a BA.
Oh, that stresses me out.
BA
that number.
From University of Arizona Human Services.
And I'm not trying to like demean. I'm not trying to demean.
I don't think college or
anything that you've done
is a scam at all,
bro. Because I'm sure that you've done very well in your job.
I thought I needed it.
But listen.
When I was doing it,
this is why I'm telling you, life is fucked up.
I never thought I needed it.
Because You were
just
a
didn't know how I was
fucking
gonna
higher
money,
up
that's
in a blind place. That's why a degree's a scam, because that's where it led you.
Yeah. But
You
that's
see what I'm
kinda
saying?
what I wanted to do.
I'm not
was
trying
something
to
that I was interested
demean
in doing.
that at all.
And I'm still interested in
I'm
doing
just-
that work.
Yeah, but
The kind of case management.
it's
type
not
stuff.
a dream.
No, it's really just
It's
something
not a
to pay the bills.
dream.
No.
It's
Definitely
just
not.
something that you knew you had to settle into and find the love for it in order for you to remain stable and stay afloat financially.
Yeah, it just pays.
And
the
that's why I'm
bills.
saying
It pays
everybody
the
has
bills.
to have a plan B or, several plans. I knew that by 13, when I was listening to Opie and Anthony heavy, and they were talking about how, the behind the scenes guys and the corporate guys are, these corporate companies are hiring more lawyers than ever, and they're telling us what to do and not able to do on our shows, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't do this and we can't do that, and it's a bunch of bullshit. It's like it's I knew I started having to change my direction, so I started learning music theory and I started learning piano seriously and audio and fucking editing, and that's when so that was 13 years ago. And here I am now. Like, I get to do fucking radio on an FM station in Florida. I get to edit and take those skills that I have been learning for the last 13 years of my life and apply them here and be able to deliver a product that sounds fucking amazing to the people that listen to this podcast, right? So it's allowed me so many benefits.
So go check out the Comfortably Poor podcast wherever you listen to your podcast at.
Hell yeah.
Not only the lives. Go listen to our back episodes. Again, 442-244-9900 or toll free 844-997-0775 if you want to jump in on any of these conversations. When did you know, or how old were you when you knew what you wanted to do? And we had the Santa Claus discussion earlier. When did you stop believing? When did you know it was your parents? What were some of the best gifts that you ever had? So on and so on. I wanted to transition to this, to something I was curious about, because I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they were talking to
All right.
Michael Francis, who was a made man for the Colombo family from like the 70s and 80s.
You said they were talking
And
to
he's
him?
kind of,
Okay.
it was a podcast, that he was on. So he's kind of reformed. He's got out of the mob life. Well, I mean, I don't
Does he have
think
both of
he's
his arms?
fully out, but like, no. I mean, he's outlived everybody.
He's got ties.
His dad is
he's
103, and
Jesus.
his dad just got released from prison at the age of 100 in 2017. And his dad
God.
His dad did a 40-year bid on some racketeering charges.
Wow.
He's kind of the big dog in the Colombo family now, because he's really the only one left that's alive.
Him or
And
his
so
dad?
his
I
dad.
guess his dad.
Michael Francis, he doesn't really associate with the mob. I mean, I'm sure he does. But again,
Yeah.
in the 70s and 80s, he was ranked probably, and there goes the studio phone ringing, sorry. He was ranked probably the
Is that a call for us?
18th wealthiest mob member. Super smart guy. But either way, go Google him, check him out. There's a lot of documentaries about him and things like that. Really, really cool guy. But I'm just curious, and maybe this might have already answered my questions because you don't really know who Michael Francis is, but Brando, you grew up in Chicago, which is a big mob town. Dan, you come from Jersey, New York area. And I understand that you guys are a little bit younger, so you guys come from the mid 90s into the early 2000s. Was there a time of growing up when you just, was the mob still, I know that they kind of slowed down in the 90s and early 2000s, but growing up, did you guys know, like, neighborhoods and things like that? It's like, oh, that's, like, was the mob a thing that was talked about in your neighborhoods, in your streets growing up? Like Chicago, New Jersey, New York, these are big cities where the mob is very heavily present.
I wouldn't say it was the mob per se, so much as Italians.
Okay.
So like, you knew that
that's
Italians,
exactly what I was gonna say. Yep.
Yeah, you knew that Italians hung out in certain areas, like up north, because I lived on the south side. You also knew that Puerto Ricans hung out in certain areas up north, but they had different neighborhoods and stuff where they would say, you know, the Italians did this and so and so did this, but no one really fucked with them too much. I mean, everyone
no one really fucked with them, and no one really talked about it because, like,
yeah,
most of those people, most of them were just tied up. You know, like they weren't. I'm sure they've done stuff and they were doing things, but a lot of time it was just kind of like, oh, hey, yo, this area is where the Colombians are. This area is where the Mexicans are. This area is where the Italians are. You know what happens. You know what I'm saying? You know what's good. And that was what it was. Like, it wasn't so specific. It wasn't like, oh, you know, if you go in this area, you're going to be killed. You know, you had to be more worried about gangs.
Right.
Actual, like, gang.
gang.
And I think that's kind of what I was saying too, is like, I think you guys, excuse me, I think you guys grew up a little bit more when the mob was kind of slowing down, because Giuliani kind of came in and really tried to shut them down in the late 80s and 90s with the racketeering charges and things like that. So through the 90s and early 2000s, the mob was kind of slowing down and kind of being shut down.
And a lot of people was being,
just curious.
yeah, a lot of people was being locked up and everything, bro. So
yeah,
a lot of the leaders were actually caught and shit. And they were getting locked up.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, 70, like, so Michael Francis was saying, like, the 50s kind of through the late 80s was really the golden years of the mob. Like,
when was
that's when
I would agree.
The 50s
through the 80s,
like the late 80s
50s
was really like the golden
I would agree with
years
that.
for the mob. They were just crushing it. They were, at one point, he says he was doing he was in gas. He had gas stations and things like that, and he had a little thing going on that at one point he was bringing in $2 million a week. $2 million a week, or no, excuse me, he was bringing in $8 to $10 million a week and giving $2 million to the family, to the Colombo family, like just crushing it. Like, can you imagine $2 million a week? Like that's crazy amount of money. And this is like in the 70s and 80s. Like $2 million.
give me $2 million right now. I would tell you how to stretch that out. That's some comfortably poor shit.
Yeah.
Comfortably poor means taking a low number like 50 grand and being like, yo, I could spread that out a little bit, yo.
Yeah.
It's 50 grand and a 2 million in a short decade. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think
I'm just very, very fascinated with the mob.
So
and the mafia. That's
I'm
why I was
fascinated
asking.
with the mob too. And you know what opened my fascination with the mob wasn't like I like to talk to Italians about Italians. Because depending on who they are, they don't like to be associated with the mob at all. Like, they do not.
Certain ones, yeah.
Certain ones. So other ones, they'll be like, yeah, you know. But like, okay, this is a live show, so I'm very hesitant to say certain things. I know
Don't
some
hold
people,
back. Don't hold back.
We don't got that edit capability, baby.
No. This is the time to hold back. Let's not be stupid. But let's just say I know people who are related to people, and they are very. So like, there's an honor about them, you know. Like they have very honor, or at least what they perceive to be very honorable ways about them. And
I mean, I went to school with a Gambino. I mean,
Did
if
you?
you're gonna tell me that I mean, somewhere down the line she's got to be tied in, right? Like Gambino, come on, that's like the name. Like if you're not a Gotti, you're a Gambino. Like somewhere in that bloodline, you know, she's got ties back to somebody in the Gambino family.
well, it's strange because I've always wondered. So, like, just mob names, right? Like, Tommy Patera, Roy DeMeo. You know what I mean? Like, these guys have reputations. You know what I mean? Like, some of them were just. You could even equate them to serial killers to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? These guys are shopping
Definitely
at
a
people.
psychological thing there that allows you to be able to be that, to dominate and have that many people behind you. Like, this is going to sound like a wild thing. Watch this be the fucking clip that they take out when we blow up. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't say... Hitler is obviously terrible. A terrible fucking guy. But...
Where are we going with this, buddy? Where are we going?
Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Rock with me. You have to have some type of intelligence or an incredible way to speak in order to have that many people follow you.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
no question. Absolutely. No, that he's right. No,
Like
there's
that-
no.
that-
I mean,
that has-
most of the professionals agree with that. But this is what it gets me, dude. I mean, we're talking about people who have families, right? They have families. They go home. They kiss their children. They kiss their friends on both cheeks, and 10 minutes later, they're chopping someone up in a bathtub. Do you see what I mean? That's a
Or they've
step
sent
removed.
down orders to have
No,
somebody
they're
chopped
not.
up.
No. But that's my whole point. That's exactly what I'm saying. Hitler didn't do that. Hitler sent down orders. These mobsters didn't send down orders. A lot of these mobsters led from the front. They themselves chopped up people in bathtubs. They themselves were burying people and shit. Go read. There's a book. I think it's on YouTube. Go read the things about Richard Kuklinski. Has anyone read? Not the Iceman interviews. Has anyone read the Iceman's book?
Dude, I did a
Read
podcast
his book.
with these fellas. And we did a whole thing on Richard Kuklinski.
Yeah.
Hold on,
We
you're
did a
kinda
whole
far from the
podcast
mic.
episode. It was the best thing in the world.
Yeah, dude, like these guys were fucking doing some wild ass shit, dropping people down mine shafts. I mean, it like
So
and
it's
they're
kind of
doing
weird.
it
Like
The man
the
was a
mob,
savage.
the mob and the mafia and serial killers are like, it's kind of my thing. Like I am obsessed with documentaries about
me too.
serial killers.
I love
I'm-
serial killer
I
stuff.
love
I have for a
serial
long
killer
time.
Shows, and I watch them all.
Me too.
And I go on
too.
YouTube and I watch all the interviews with some of the people that were like.
I
on
watch the
death row.
documentaries and everything.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm just so into them. And I think part of it is like I try to analyze them a little bit. I'm like, what are they saying? What are they really saying when they're answering this question? Like, I try to like think about their mannerisms and like I try to like. I don't know. It's really weird, but like I love serial killer stuff and the mafia type stuff. It's just a really that I would go to school to learn that stuff. Like if there was classes on serial killers and the mafia, I would take those classes. Like give me those classes.
have you ever check out Donnie Brasco?
Of course.
No, not,
What do you think about
Donnie
Joe
Brasco.
oh,
Pistone?
yo, yeah.
Joe Pistone,
do you ever think about Joe
the
We've talked
what do you
about
think
legendary
him?
cop. He
What
is
do
a
you-
legend. He gets the title
Yeah.
legend.
What do you think?
I mean, so when I was listening to this interview with Michael Francis, like he talked about Joe Pistone. He knew of Joe Pistone. He knew about Donnie Brasco. He knew through the streets in the 70s and 80s about Donnie Brasco. And he even has met and done seminars with Joe Pistone now. and he was talking about how Joe told him, like, he told Joe, he's like, I don't know why, Joe, but, there was always something that told me to never do business with you. And Joe would look at him and be like, you wouldn't be here talking at this seminar today, Mike, if you were doing business with me, because Joe Pistone single-handedly took down the mob, He took down the mob. Like, he infiltrated the mob and took him down. He was working with Giuliani. He was working with everybody. He took down the mob. Like, basically, I want to say at some point there was like 200 and some odd members that he basically put in jail from all the intel, the wiretaps, everything that he was doing while being a part of the mob as an undercover cop.
FBI guy, yeah.
And took him down as an undercover FBI. Yeah, took him down.
Yeah.
Donnie Brasco, great movie.
Do you remember Lefty Two Guns?
Yeah, Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al Pacino, great.
Shit. And
again, it's only because it's fresh in my brain. I literally was listening to this podcast this morning, but Michael Francis was saying that Donnie Brasco, Goodfellas, and there was an HBO movie about Gotti done a few years back, are very well done and very accurate to the mob life. So what you saw, like he said, Donnie Brasco had a little bit of fabrication to it, but there was a lot of truth to if you watch the movie Donnie Brasco, what's happening in that movie is very true. A lot of that was real.
Is there a descriptive
and how the mob ran?
movie, I wonder?
Yeah, there is. I've seen
it. Yeah, drop it to me. I've never seen a non-descriptive. I've never seen a descriptive. I've seen a non-descriptive version. One other thing I was going to mention, and this is just kind of a fun thing. Oh, kind of fun, even though it has kind of bleak implications. Are there any mobsters you ever just wanted to talk to? Like, if you could talk to one?
I want to talk to Michael Francis. Yeah. I mean, he's really the only one that's left.
No, really? No, well, yeah, okay.
He's the only really true.
But I mean, in prison though,
mob.
like ones that are in prison, even out of the ones that are in prison now. Would you
even
talk?
Some of them are getting older. I mean, I would definitely talk to any of them. There's without a doubt. I would love to talk to him. Like I said, I am obsessed with
Gotti. Would you doing? Yeah, I was gonna say John. You doing Gotti? Yeah.
And let me tell you why. And you know what solidified that for me? This happened a couple weeks ago. I was finally finishing up Joey Diaz podcast. This was an old episode. This was from 2018, but it was like the most New York-filled episode, and I felt so at home listening to Nick Totoro, fucking Michael Rappaport, and Joey Diaz on a podcast, right? And fucking Nick Totoro used to be... Nick Totoro used to be a doorman in New York. And he was talking about how he used to know Trump, how he used to see Trump all the time, come out of the building for this, like, major apartment building. And one time he fucking drove Gotti. He saw Gotti pull up. And he comes out and he's like, his whole thought of, holy shit, this guy has killed people. You could just tell the power. You can feel power. You know what I'm saying? You can feel.
Gotti?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and
a lot of
Joey Diaz. Wait,
we're
we're talking about Joey Diaz met Gotti and felt this power. Who?
No. It was Nick Totoro.
The doorman.
Oh, the doorman. Okay.
Nick Totoro, who used to be a doorman. He ended up being an actor and stuff like that.
A lot of people said Gotti walked that way. Like, he was the Don.
Yeah, he was just the Don, bro. He was the real deal.
Yes. And there is no...
Yeah.
Gotti didn't give two shits. Walk up on you and put two bullets right between your eyes. Like...
Crazy shit.
That's what made Gotti... I mean, Gotti became a boss because of that reason. Like, he held it down. I mean, there's just no
Yeah, and
taking
I
that
think,
away from
is there a serial killer you would want up to?
I want to talk to Tommy Patera if I could.
I want to talk to Ed Gein.
Fuck Ed Gein. Ed Gein was a sissy. He was killing women. Ed Gein.
I wanted to know what Ed Gein's fucking whole what I wanted to know what it was for him though.
He's eating fucking scalps.
Because it was because I think Jeffrey Dahmer is a sissy.
I agree.
Jeffrey
I think Jeffrey Dahmer is a
so
fucking sissy.
interesting though. It's so interesting.
It is interesting.
Like,
It is interesting. I'm not gonna
like
lie.
the whole like killing squirrels and stuff in his backyard as a kid and like posting
It is-
them up on
it's even-
The
cardboard.
motherfucker was Ted Bundy who was luring women though on purpose.
No, but
that was
Jeffrey
fucking
was
insane.
fucking dudes in the
the
ass.
Green River Killer.
And then
from
No,
England
Jeffrey was
another
going
good-
ham, bro.
Jeffrey was going crazy, dude. Jeff was.
They said
he's
he
like,
had
yeah, we're gonna
brain
invite you
and
back to the
tongue
house, and
and
then
body arms in his freezer, like in
In
his
his freezer,
refrigerator
yeah.
freezer.
Yeah,
in his
now he was
freezer.
storing it in his freezer,
in his-
stockpile.
in
yes,
his
yeah, and he
fucking
would eat it
kitchen.
afterward.
Stockpiles of human
So
remains.
no, he
bro.
had a
Yeah.
routine, right? He said it himself. He had a routine. He would take a dude back to his living room. He'd have a drink with him, and then after they would have a drink, they would have sex. After they have sex, he would kill them. Like
Yeah.
he would strangle them, or he might. I don't know if he could beat them to death. I
Man.
can't remember exactly. And after that, he would cut them up, and he would hide certain parts in the walls and floor of his house, and he would hide the edible parts, or what he thought were the edible parts anyway, in his freezer. And he would then have a meal, and the meal would be parts of that person he just killed.
I love how we went from Santa Claus to serial killers.
I know, dude. I know to do this fucking live.
I love our live shows, people.
I wish we got
People, you
promoted
gotta
on. I wish we got
appreciate
promoted
the
on YouTube
Comfortably Poor
Kids.
podcast, people. Comfortably Poor podcast. You ain't getting this shit anywhere else. We're not talking about our favorite gifts and Santa Claus, and then talking about Richard Kuklinski and fucking Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer in the same conversation. people.
Come on, bro.
Come on. 442
This is the way it's supposed to
toll
go.
free 844-997-0775. Hit us up and be a part of this conversation. We want to hear from you. Let us know what's on your mind. This is
So
amazing.
I put a question on the Twitter a couple days ago.
Let's hear it.
What do you guys feel about people showing up at your house? Like uninvited, like it's been like.
So we've
it's
talked
the
about this
homies.
before.
I know, Adam. You've shared
Yes.
stories about how your house was the
talked
party
about
house
this.
and people would come through and everything like that. But come on, bro. Now you're with your lady and somebody comes to your crib at
I don't have
fucking
friends
6,
anymore.
7 at night.
I don't have friends anymore. I keep my friends.
Yeah, we know why,
very, very
Adam.
limited.
We know why.
I know. I keep friends very, very limited. I only fuck with a limited amount of people, so that's just not happening. And I'm gonna tell you now, as you get older, that shit just doesn't happen. People get lives, they get married, they get kids. Like people aren't just dropping by.
Oh, trust me, I know. I
by
hate talking on the phone.
unannounced.
I really need
let
to
me just-
like you to talk on the phone with you.
I never ever had that problem, but I think it's because the few times I did have that problem, I threatened the person with violence, and I think they went back and told everybody else.
Hold on.
Do
All
not
right,
show up at
Brando.
my fucking house uninvited. If you fucking show up at my
All
house
right.
uninvited, I'm going to harm you. Now we can have
So-
coffee in a few hours if you like,
All right, Jeffrey.
but you don't show. But here's the problem. Oh, dude, it'd be worse than Jeffrey. I wouldn't.
See,
even show up on
no.
you.
See, no.
You don't fucking show up.
I
at my
just
house uninvited.
disconnect.
Especially on the south
I
side of Chicago
disconnect.
too. Especially on the south side. Yo, bro, look. And here's the worst part. If you're blind and you have sighted friends, especially as a young person, like people think kids are stupid. Your brain's not done fully forming. You don't know what's what. You don't know how. So you're doing really dumb things. You're not thinking things all the way through. So they do really retarded shit like knock on the door and don't say anything. On the south side of Chicago, don't do that. That's a no-no.
See, I think a
and
little
then-
bit of this is region.
It is
You
a
guys
little
come
bit
from
a little bit of
Northeast
this is
and
a little
Jersey,
bit of this is
Chicago.
region, But hold up, let's fast forward a couple years to college life.
In time.
Hang on. Fast forward a couple years to college life.
But hold on, because as a child, or
I'm not thinking child. I'm thinking young. Yeah.
No, but I mean, as a teenager, young adult, into growing up, things like that. This is a little bit of the age difference for us, I guess, because for you guys as teenagers, young adults, moving out on your own for the first time, things like that, it was early 2000s, mid 2000s, late, things like that. Times were a little bit different. Shit was happening. There was more stuff covered on media. There was shootings. There was this and that. Whereas a lot of this shit for me was in the mid 90s, and things were a little bit of calmer. And it's really interesting how drastically times changed from 95 to 2005. So it's kind of an interesting take that for you guys who are under 30 are like, no, fuck that. This is unacceptable. Whereas I'm like, this was a norm. This was my doors were unlocked.
But even more. Let's logically think at your age right now.
Right now, yes.
With your woman, you're sitting on the couch and somebody shows up at your crib. You're not going to be as welcoming as you were from 95 to 2005, I promise you.
Well, no, but
you're going to be really annoyed.
Think about it.
I'm going to be annoyed.
Though,
get out of my house.
It depends on who it is. For me, it depends on who it is.
Nah, listen. Get out of my house. Call me. We could set this up. We could have set this up.
That's going to be the difference between me threatening you and me cussing you out and then telling you to go away. But see, no one who knows me very well, at least, is going to show up. But even if you don't know me, do I strike you as the type of person you should just show up uninvited? Do I look?
Right.
Super dope homie, super close. And he's just like, yo, I was in the neighborhood. I got some time to kill before an appointment. I just thought I'd roll through. You got a beer? Let's have a beer.
Bro, if you're my homie.
That still bothers you?
Adam, this is, it's not that it bothers me. My homie, it's 2019. You better be fucking calling me before you show up at my fucking house.
Okay.
I know I would.
Let me say this.
Dan,
yo, he texts you. Yo, I'm pulling up in your driveway. I'm just around the corner. He's only giving you 60 seconds notice. Is that still bother you? Or is it like, hey, at least he's letting me know, hey, cool. Yo, Jimmy's stopping by. He's pulling up in the driveway. I'm going to go get a couple cold ones. We're going to sit outside and crack a beer and shoot the shit for a few minutes.
And that would be different, right? You? That would be slightly different than him trying to come in the house too, because we might be sitting around naked. You know what I'm saying? We might be, I might have to just put shorts on, go outside with the beers, and we could just sit in the car and have a few drinks. But we are not about to just come in and start shooting.
But you're not going to let him in, go sit out on the patio. Let's say it's peak July, August, something like that.
This is why, Adam, this is why I don't have friends. All of these this is why I don't have friends, bro, and I don't want to have friends, because you're bringing up all these weird ass scenarios. Like, nigga, come on, bro. Like, I don't want to fucking do this shit with people, bro. Like, I want to.
Adam,
Adam. I'm fine. I'm fine if that's a couple close friends. I keep a couple close friends.
I don't. My close friends are in different countries.
Give
me 2 seconds. If they roll
my
through,
friends are on the computer.
They hit me up.
I like it that way. I don't have to face anybody.
But see, that's the blind. See,
it's fantastic.
You're gonna hate on me. You're gonna hate on me, but that's the blind thing. That's the blind thing.
How is it a blind thing when my friends I fucked them?
Because the blind.
I think how is it a blind thing if that's the common thing today, bro?
And plus, she cited
the common thing today is gaming across the world.
I still got
people are gaming with people online.
I get that, but I still got the homies from the neighborhood. And maybe that's me because I'm still in Portland. Portland is.
You're still in Portland. I was just about to say that you're still in Portland.
You're still in a city that's very small town minded.
Okay.
And I like that. I like that.
Let's play the. If you were still home, what if you were in the apartment in Jersey and you got your boys from around the block, and They roll through and they're like, hey, come out on the stoop and crack a cold one with us for 30 minutes, but why we got to kill some time. That's a problem for you? That's a problem for you.
Call me beforehand.
It just complicates life and what I'm doing inside more.
Call me beforehand. What if I'm
you
fucking?
ain't doing shit, but just...
Yes,
What
exactly.
if I'm
What if I'm
fucking?
Okay, if you're fucking,
Or
then
what
you're
if I'm
fucking. You're not
asleep?
gonna answer the. You're not
Or
gonna
what if
answer
I'm
the
asleep?
door. You're not gonna answer your phone.
Oh
You're
my!
fucking. That's
So now
fine.
I just missed out on the opportunity to hang out with my boys, to drink or whatever, and hang out with them.
cares?
You know, because you like
The
to be so
pussy's better
buddy
than your
with all your
boys.
friends. So let me
pussy's
sit
better
in
than
your
your
shoes
boys.
for a
That I
second.
agree. The pussy is definitely better than my boys. No
The
question.
pussy's better than
because
your
my
boys,
don't have
and I'm not
pussy.
gonna hate on you for doing
Thank
that.
you.
I'm not gonna hate on you for fucking the pussy rather than
No,
hanging out
but
with your boys.
And
my-
listen,
but hold on,
if
Adam,
I'm
Adam, look,
working,
look.
if I'm in work mode, I'm not trying to fucking chill with you.
Adam, look, let me answer the question, right? Look, if my boys text me like, all right, I'm in the neighborhood, I just want to have a few calls. Listen, if I'm really not feeling it, I'm just gonna text them back. No, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm sick or something. I've got diarrhea. My girlfriend's throwing up. You know, we got problems over here. I'm sick. I got a cold. We're not feeling the best. You know, look, can we postpone until later? That's what I probably would say. Some sort of diversion to get him off. You know, if
That's
I really,
what I would do too.
But if and then again, some people want to show up and just talk for hours. People say one
Look,
thing and
I'm gonna tell you a story that
I agree
happened
with
to
that.
me.
It just
I'll tell you my
depends.
story. I'll tell you my
But
story
it
that
sounds
happened
like
with me
more
one
often
time.
than not, you're turning the homies away. More
More
often than not, you're turning the
I
more
homies
guess
often
it's
than-
more
listen,
not. I guess it's
Adam,
more
look.
not the homies. I guess it's more not the homies
on.
though. But listen, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
More often than not, my homies don't live around here. More often than not, and that's not it. And I'm not saying
But
that my
I'm
homies
just
are on the
saying,
computer.
we're just
but-
hypothetically, if
But,
you're
well,
back
when-
home, and you got the
hypothetically
spot,
speaking, I
you
have
got the
very
crib,
limited
and even
homies.
if you're home with the lady, you're home with your lady, and you're just chilling, whatever. Maybe you just got done beating the guts, and you're just chilling. A homie hits you up, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. I got some time to kill before an appointment or before I got to meet with somebody or whatever. Yada,
what do
yada,
women,
yada.
let me ask you something.
That's a
What do women
problem?
always say? What do women always say if they don't feel like you're paying them enough attention and you're going to go hang out with your boys?
Fuck you. Get it. Eat a dick, bitch. I just laid pipe. You don't. Fuck
what I
you,
mean?
dude.
See?
If I just got done laying pipe and that's what they're gonna say, like, no, I'm gonna go to the homies in the neighborhood. I'm gonna go crack a cold one with him. Well, I'm just gonna fucking. He's coming over. We're
dude,
gonna shoot the
I'd
shit.
rather
We're gonna
spit-
throw some Sports Center on, and we're gonna shoot the shit for 30 minutes.
I'm old.
because he's got some time.
I'm a
to kill.
old.
Yeah, I'm
You're
old- I'm
super
old too,
nice,
G.
and that's
Yeah,
how I know you're white.
I would not.
That's how I know. That's the white side of you
Yeah,
speaking.
if the homie
That's the
homie
white
wants
man.
to come
No
over,
friends.
you need to
No
plan.
friends.
No, I don't want no friends.
No.
friends.
Nope. I'm happy.
No,
with that.
that's the
Man,
white
that's
man of
crazy.
you, bro,
That's
and I'm okay
crazy.
with
That's
that.
Crazy.
That's
That's
all
crazy.
good.
That's crazy to me.
Me and Dan, we plan to hang
Y'all
out
just
2 months
want to
ahead of
be
time.
home alone all the time.
Dude, I'm never alone. What do you mean? That's the problem.
Okay, you're. With
I wish
your
I
girl
was.
all the time, but let's be real. You ain't fucking 24/7. You might be.
No,
fucking
but when
a
I'm
lot,
not,
but you
I
ain't
need
fucking
recovery time.
24/7.
No, but when I'm not, I
And
need
you should be
recovery.
recovering with the boys. Your boys could come over, have a cold one with
They're
you, and
annoying.
just chill and shoot the shit. Then you need better.
You know,
friends.
if you, I'll put just to make it better. If you were to come over, Adam, unannounced, I would come and have a cold one with you every time.
Goddamn right, because I'm gonna bring
But-
a bottle with me.
But
I come prepared.
I'm never. All I will tell you this. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, bro. I'll tell you this. Listen,
I come bearing gifts.
I'm
motherfucker.
never. If I'm ever in Portland,
Come on over.
I'm never calling you.
yes,
Come
do
Before I
not
come
call
to you,
him.
I'm banging
Just shut
on
the
your
fuck
door
up
like
and
the
knock on
cops.
Please. I will eat.
All right, I'm gonna bang on your door obnoxiously.
Please. Look,
All right,
I
want you to know
my
that.
extra bedroom because I'm fancy, rich, and
Yo,
I'm gonna
Tyson
beat
took
that
his
door
door.
down. I'm gonna kick that motherfucker in. Yeah, man. You're seriously telling me right now that you're okay with just people showing up at the crib? No, man. I'm old and I'm ethnic. I'm old and I'm ethnic.
He's old and yes, exactly.
That's gonna be on another T-shirt of ours. I'm old and I'm ethnic.
Old and ethnic. Yes.
God damn it.
Let's go to the phone lines. We got somebody on the line. They want to say something.
You don't get a warning, nigga. I'm gonna be in Portland. I'm gonna be in Portland next month.
Yo, I'll
Make sure my
that
layover is
shit
in
down.
Oregon. Nigga, just
Let's go to the phone lines. We got James from
James.
says Austin, Texas.
Oh my God,
Yo.
James.
Yo, so
What's
first
up,
off,
James?
You guys gotta actually test that. Go there unannounced. Don't tell him anything.
Please.
Turn on that YouTube live.
Facts.
Walk up to his door and just see how he reacts.
Please. Y'all don't even know how white I am. Y'all don't even know how white. I'm gonna you're gonna have fresh slippers for your feet. I'm gonna have burgers on the grill already. There's gonna be cold beer in the fridge. Like, come on in. The door is
Bro,
open.
you make it like that. I'm not gonna leave.
Nah. I'm staying,
How many
nigga.
people
How
out in
much
your
I'm gonna
house?
pay? I'll pay you
Exactly.
$50. $50 a
Yeah, how
month. I'll
much
pay you
is-
$50
how much
to
is
stay.
rent?
You trying to keep me? You trying to keep me?
That's what I'm
My
saying.
lady's daughters moved out. I got 3 extra rooms upstairs. 3 rooms. Look, it's Hotel Rwanda up in this bitch. I got 3 extra rooms there.
Yeah, see.
Oh, that's some white shit right there. See,
Dude,
we don't have that in the hood, bro.
He doesn't
We don't got
understand.
that.
I'm going to Portland. I will be there. 2020 is going to be a very Oregon year.
All right, hold on. James, you're chilling at the crib. You're chilling at the crib. Some of the homies come over. They're in the neighborhood. One homie, one friend hits you up and says, yo, I'm in the neighborhood. I'm going to stop by for a few minutes. I got a little time to kill. Are you letting him in or not?
There may be 1 or 2 people that could get away with that, but probably not. This is 2019. You know, if you don't give me like 36
Facts,
photos
man.
at least, no. Like I don't have to.
Let me wash my balls, bro.
And go, oh hey, is this
He's
guy
not
still
licking your
home?
ball
You know,
sack. He's just coming by to chill.
I don't need to wash my balls. I just need to
man.
fucking put some clothes on. And I don't always like putting clothes on.
Okay, so
maybe you're already doing other shit. Don't want to deal with people, but yeah, I don't know. If this was 2005, that would be perfectly normal to me because I had friends growing up.
So
Families broke, didn't always have a phone. If you wanted to know if someone was around, you actually had to go try and see who was home, what was going up. But it's not really like that anymore. So I don't know. Maybe I just changed too much.
fuck no. I'm old and I'm ethnic, bro. I'm gonna stick to my guns, man.
hey, appreciate the call, James.
You
Thank
are not showing up at my house.
Thanks,
I'm
James.
kicking
I
you in
don't
the
know.
fucking
I think
balls.
you guys are overthinking this shit. Like, I don't know. I guess this is age. I guess this is an age thing because I don't see the problem.
It is age, bro.
I think so because look, I'm not gonna be. I might not.
It's just different time,
be
bro. You know,
happy about it.
like kids can't play outside anymore. Sadly,
Facts.
you know
Yeah.
what you got to do when you were a kid, and the fact that you got to play in the neighborhood, and you didn't have to worry about being fucking kidnapped by a creep or fucking shot. You could just play outside, and you could come back late night, and we got the tail end of that. And people my age, we got the tail fucking end of that. Cause I used to hang out in the fucking. I used to come in 8 o'clock at night, bruh. It was awesome.
I posted a status on Facebook a few months back in the summertime, and outside. So we live on a corner lot, and on the street, on our street side, there's the house behind us, and they have a basketball hoop out in front of their house, and then the house directly across the street from that house has a basketball hoop too. So there was kids outside playing basketball, and I never really paid attention to it before, but I heard them out there playing basketball, and I was like, holy shit, there must be something going on. There must be something in the air, something in the water, because there are kids outside playing basketball, and I did not think this happened in 2019. I thought kids just stayed inside and played video games, played on their iPods. Like, I had no idea that kids actually still went outside and played. You couldn't get me inside as a kid. In the 90s, I was out the door, like summertime, when school was out and summertime was in, like 8 a.m., I was grabbing some peanut butter toast, shoving that shit in my face, a glass of juice or something, whatever, and I was out the door at 8 a.m. and I was not back in until the street lights came on. The street lights came on, my ass better be in the house. And that was that. Like, gone for hours and hours and hours. Who knows? And we rode our bikes blocks and blocks away from the house. Like, kids barely even ride their bikes up and down their front of their streets now because their parents are like, somebody's gonna come rape you or steal you or something. Like, you just, it's so crazy how different it is today versus just
It is
25 years
It
ago.
is.
Just 25, 30 years ago, man. Like, people didn't think twice about, like, we left our doors unlocked. Like, y'all think that's a joke. People in our neighborhood left their doors unlocked.
Dude, you
You'd
leave your
sleep
door
at
unlocked in
night.
my neighborhood.
Yeah, you leave your door.
Well, okay, look.
Bro, you're asking.
South side of Chicago is a much different thing. And I think that's been a much different thing for 40, 50 years. Like,
Agreed.
and there's documentaries about that.
70
There's
years,
documentaries
yeah.
about the south side of Chicago.
But you know
that's not a
something weird,
joke.
though?
Like,
I'm going to tell you something kind of funny. People talk about Chicago now, but Chicago has actually had pretty low murder rates for a long time. The highest murder rate
no.
No, listen.
the south side?
Listen, no, fuck. I'm not talking about the South. I'm talking about Chicago City. The highest
in
murder
general.
rate. Yeah. The highest murder rate in Chicago was actually recorded in 1970, 1974-ish. It wasn't.
Yeah, but y'all still have like 3,000 murders a year.
There's still. No, it's not 3,000. Come on, bro.
I mean, it's something crazy like that.
We still have our murder rates. Don't get me wrong. We're still Chicago. Chicago is always going to be Chicago. But the highest murder rate in Chicago they're back in the 70s. Not now. And that's what I always think is interesting because things have actually gotten a lot better than they used to be. Back in the Cabrini Green days, back in Terrortown days, man, people talk about now. Kids used to walk around bodies going to school.
So in 2016, Chicago recorded its highest murders in 2 decades with 761.
Yeah.
In 2019, as of January 1st,
Yeah.
2019, it had dropped 10%. So it was changing. It's going
I know
down.
it's changing. And let me tell you something.
Gentrification is working.
Hold on.
Woo-hoo!
Let me tell you something. That I can't remember if it's 70 or 74, but if you check, you'll find that the highest murder rate in Chicago was 970. It's like 900
Let's see
something.
what I can find here.
That was a bad year. But it was like that from the 70s through the 80s into the 90s. It started getting better in the late 90s, early 2000s.
See, I think it
And
was
then
pretty
it's-
bad in the 90s.
It was pretty bad in the 90s. The early and mid 90s, yes. It started getting
I used to
better
have
in the
this app.
later 90s.
And it was before they went to like this digital frequency, but there was apps where you could listen to cop scanners. And I used to
have a
listen to
cop scanner.
Chicago
Yes, I still do.
all the time, man. All the time. And Chicago.
They still have it. They still have apps,
going
and it's literally the
bananas,
number
man.
one feed because it's the
Bananas.
most active.
It was
Yeah.
bananas how
It's always the top
like
feed.
you couldn't even keep track of the feed because there was just so many police saying this, that. I was like, God damn. It was nuts. And there's always something going on there.
Yeah, there is.
1 weekend in 2019 in Chicago, 52 people were killed. It's a record.
Man, oh
Record
man.
in 30 years. 52 people were murdered in 2019 in 1 weekend. That's bananas. Welcome to Chicago.
It's home.
But then, like
Well,
you
see,
said,
this
the
is
north
where I laugh
side
because-
is night and day, right? Like the north side
Yes.
is glitz and glam, right?
Well,
Like
most
it's-
of the north.
It's very...
most of the north side, yes. There are definitely some hoods in the north side, yeah, but most of the north side, is pretty fucking
a little bit
white,
nice, fancy, and
rich, very rich. Yeah, you gotta have some.
yeah.
and very well protected too.
And yet people still, I mean, Chicago is still a destination. I mean,
It's always gonna be a
jobs, big money is there, working downtown.
It's enormous.
Because
Here's the thing: the bad part of
It's a big
Chicago
city still.
is centralized to two major areas, the South and the West Side. The rest of Chicago is fine, and there's a lot more of Chicago than. But here's the thing: if it bleeds, it leads, and there's a lot of bleeding, and so what ends up on the news is going to be the bad stuff. You're not if good things happen, they usually don't end up on the news. White cops helping black children cross streets does not end up on the news.
white cops killing black children does, though.
Of course it does. That's always going to end up on the news.
Yeah. Speaking of white people, well, not really white, Mexican, whatever he was, people killing black kids. George Zimmerman suing Trayvon Martin's family for $100 million.
Yeah, that was pretty funny in a cynical sort of way.
Like, this guy is a fucking nut job. There's got to be something wrong with him, right? Like, I don't think this dude is all there mentally. Let me try and get this.
Yeah, bring that up, and then I want to talk about some things that happened around that case.
Let's see.
Do you have any access to some of those videos too? I want to definitely end on some.
Yeah, what do we want to play? Which ones do we want to play?
Some fun stuff. I don't know. What did you have? You had some good stuff in there.
We got an interesting one with Master P.
Ramen noodles.
Yeah, we could pull that up.
Let's try.
It's funny because I was just talking about Master P the other day.
Let's see.
No limit noodles.
No limit noodles.
Bro, come on.
All right, let's talk about that. Let me just get this pulled up.
Yeah. No, do your thing. I fucking rock with this. You know that. I had CP Pod 100 across all platforms. You know what it is, baby. 4422449900. And remember, we're not going to be dropping podcasts. We definitely might throw some bonus joints out there for you. But there won't be podcasts until the new year. So the lives, just take these
This
in,
shit
man,
should start
because these
playing.
are super fun.
So if you want a real meal, that's delicious. I know about noodles. I grew up on noodles.
I grew up on
And I
noodles
created
too.
my own brand. It's nothing like this. See this? The Icon brand. Chicken and gumbo. Real New Orleans flavor. I used to go, the 99. Now I'm going, delicious. If you ain't eating rap noodles, then you shouldn't be eating noodles. Because this is the best of the best noodles. Those other noodle companies have nothing on us. We rap noodles.
Sounds like he's sucking dick. Like,
You know what? Hold on. No, yo, somebody said that, I used to follow this nigga on YouTube named Hot Damn I Rock. He was one of those just YouTube comics that would just do like different skits and shit. And my man said, a bitch is sucking your dick right when it sounds like she's
eating
sucking
ramen noodles?
like spaghetti. She's sucking up some spaghetti. She's sucking up pasta.
that was Master P eating his rap noodles.
Listen,
Hey, did you guys?
I would actually try this. He said it was chicken and gumbo flavored. I'm fucking with that.
I'll eat that.
I had
I'll
real
eat that all
gumbo
day.
for the first time
So if you want a real meal,
in Washington.
What was that? Sorry. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that shit rocking. So I
Gumbo's
definitely
good.
enjoy gumbo, and
Gumbo is definitely good. But did you guys fuck with ramen growing up? Like I know we've all kind of told our story that we didn't come from families with a lot of money. We kind of came from the hood. We kind of came from the streets a little bit. Like, did you all get fuck with ramen?
Yeah, I used to like to eat ramen
3 meals a day. Oh, me too. I'd sprinkle the seasoning packet right on top of that shit.
Dude, I didn't even use the seasoning packet. I used to throw the seasoning packet right in the garbage and just eat it dry like that.
Oh my God, savage.
This guy really does not like salt.
No, I don't like any salt on it.
So I will tell you right now, like, I wasn't the... It's so crazy because, like, the ramen was introduced to me when I was older.
Oh,
I didn't have ramen when I was a kid. We were the frozen dinners.
Oh, like
and
the
the canned
TV
and the
dinner.
canned spaghettis and shit.
Frozen dinners.
Man, if you ever had a TV dinner,
Not the frozen, but like the TV dinners. Yeah, the TV dinners.
Yeah.
That shit is horrible. I hated that shit.
And that was the garbage that we ate.
Do you guys try
wasn't
to eat different today because of the food that you ate as a kid? Do you guys know what you want to eat
1000%.
as adults? Yeah.
Well,
1000%.
so, but
My love for vegetables.
I think some of it, yeah.
For certain vegetables has shot up throughout the last several years of my life. Like, knowing how much garbage I've eaten, I'm so excited to, like, throw peppers and onions and fucking all this shit on a sandwich whenever I'm getting a sub. You know what I'm saying? Like, I take advantage.
Yeah.
To be able to, or like, if somebody says, yo, can we have a pizza with a bunch of stuff on it and or meats? And I'm like, yo, I'll compromise if we could just fucking do a Supreme with some fucking mushrooms, some fucking peppers or whatever on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will actually now think about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely... I guess I eat a lot more shit that I didn't eat as a kid growing up because we didn't have money. Like the vegetables for sure, and I love vegetables. I eat a ton of vegetables, and I know Brando eats nothing but vegetables. I wasn't a vegetable
kid at all.
We just didn't afford it. And the vegetables that we did eat was like creamed corn. It was shit we get in food boxes, and that shit literally was a can with a yellow fucking label, and in
yes, I remember that.
Said creamed corn. It was fucking
creamed corn,
corn. That was it, and you'd eat it.
That was it, and
that was your
and
vegetables.
you would fucking warm it up. You would warm it up, and you would eat it.
Yeah, but no, I love vegetables. I like Brussels sprouts. I like cabbage. I like all that shit. I like broccoli.
Fucking
I
love
like cauliflower.
spinach.
Yeah.
Love fucking grilled asparagus. Oh.
But that shit is still expensive, man. It's crazy.
It's so costly, man.
To try and eat healthy is ridiculously expensive. It's just ridiculous. Like,
it's so frustrating. That's how you know they're trying to kill you. That's population control, man.
It is so much easier
in the
to go to
slickest way.
McDonald's and get 2 cheeseburgers, a French fry, and a drink versus going.
But that's what it's there for.
Fucking food. Yes, of course.
Somebody who's finishing up, like my aide through school. He used to he had a valet job. And that was
like as a
Thursdays and Fridays. Yeah, it's a side job. He would go to this like fancy ass restaurant, and that was his other side gig. And that was just what it was, man. Like, to me, give me 1 second, because my shit's just freezing, and I was trying to do this over here. So
I was trying to find the video of the kid at the dentist, but I can't find it right now.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Well, you had another video. Do you have another interesting video there that
I'm gonna have to bounce out of here pretty soon. Do you want to cover the Zimmerman thing real quick? I want to.
What are your thoughts on the Zimmerman
retarded
stuff?
ass? First off, I wasn't like a lot of people were with the whole Trayvon Martin thing, especially in the black community. Like I felt like there was wrong on both sides. Zimmerman is definitely a nutcase. I don't think he should have been acquitted. I think he should have served some time.
But where do you think Trayvon was wrong?
I think Trayvon was wrong in that he decided that he wanted to fucking cave this guy's skull in. I think Trayvon obviously had some training. Let's put it that way. And I think in his training,
but there was no proof of that. There was no talk of that.
I know, but this is okay. So this gets. I really don't want to get into the case per se because that's kind of what we're starting to do. Would you agree that when Zimmerman shot him, that Trayvon was on top of him?
In that sense,
physically on top of him.
Maybe.
Would you say we don't know?
I would say we don't know. I don't say we know who was on who. But I would say that Zimmerman attacked him.
I would say Zimmerman attacked him
The fact that the cops told him not to fucking approach him and to leave him alone, and then he still...
And then he went and did it.
And that's the problem. I think that's the issue.
That's why
But here's my biggest question. If I was going to play devil's advocate,
is he
right?
not serving time?
Would this story had been different had it been a white person who was attacking him?
Yes.
And would have it not gotten coverage?
Mexican? Zimmerman was what, like?
He was who he is.
Hang on.
He was who he is.
Back up.
It was just happening to another white person.
To answer your question, Zimmerman is mixed race. He's white and Mexican. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it would not have
if
panned
it
out
was
the
a
same
white person, would it have
this
changed?
Was, let's say
it wouldn't have gotten coverage.
Trevor Greenwald. Yeah, no, I think it might have gotten some coverage, but not the coverage that it got. No, it would not have gotten the same coverage. But at the same time,
I will
if
tell
Zimmerman
you this.
had behaved the same way, he would have went to jail.
So
for shooting,
he gets off scot-free. This fucking psycho then auctions off the gun a few years later to a white supremacist for $250,000, the same gun he killed Trayvon Martin with. Right? This fucking lunatic, then he's in the news. Every time he's in the news, it's never for anything good.
Exactly. And that's
this guy literally has taken advantage of the fact that he's gotten scot-free.
Everything, like there was a whole list of incidents that happened after the Trayvon Martin thing. After he was acquitted, he was stopped for attacking. The police were called because he attacked a lady. The police were called again because he was speeding and was not responding to chasing cars. The police were called again because he assaulted someone in a parking lot. The police were called. These sorts of things kept happening and there was a whole string of incidents that continued to happen after he was acquitted for the Trayvon Martin incident. And to think that this guy not only had a gun, but was on someone's neighborhood watch and got away, scot-free after pursuing a person who, for all intents and purposes, had done nothing wrong.
Yes, man. Look,
that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, Zimmerman
because we don't know the full story. I don't want to say. Look, of course, it's terrible that the kid got killed, but who's to say he didn't escalate something? We don't know who started anything.
I think, but no. There's the thing here, and this is the legal problem. This is why I didn't come down nearly as hard on Trayvon. I think Trayvon definitely had a hand in this. I don't think he.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't think he's completely innocent.
I do not.
I don't.
I do
It's
not.
the same thing.
I do not think.
It's the same thing with Michael Brown. It's the same thing with Michael Brown.
I don't.
No, I think it's
disagree.
slightly. I think it's slightly different. But hold on, hang on. Let me get this out. There's a couple things. The first thing is this: Did Trayvon have? Could Trayvon have de-escalated the situation? I tend to think yes. However,
1,000%.
the question is, but for it's the thing that we use in legal parlance a lot, and for a very good reason. But for this happening, would this other thing have happened? And so the question becomes, but for Zimmerman following him, would Trayvon be alive today? And I tend to think yes. But for you following him, would he be alive? Yeah. Because if you had just fucking listened to what the cop or what the 911 operator had told you, he would have no reason to escalate things with you, and you would have no opening to try to antagonize, intimidate, or escalate things with him. The distance between you two is the best thing for both of you. And that
But when
happen.
George Zimmerman starts tailing Trayvon Martin, we don't know what was said. We don't know what was said between George Zimmerman and Trayvon.
That's why
it's possible George Zimmerman. It's possible George.
That's
Zimmerman
why you should have listened to the goddamn cops.
But it's right. But I'm just saying in general, George Zimmerman could have possibly been provoking it by tailing him and saying stuff to him. We don't know. What was George saying to Trayvon? Get out of my neighborhood. You don't belong here. And then what if Trayvon turns to talk to him like, what? Are you talking to me? Like, what's going on? Like, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know that transpires between that phone call that George Zimmerman makes to the police and them telling him to not do anything and to George Zimmerman shooting Trayvon. What transpires between the point where the operator says, don't follow him, and we don't hear anything else? We don't know anything else. All we know is that George Zimmerman follows him. They end up in somebody's backyard, tussling, and George Zimmerman shoots him. What transpires between then and now? That's never been discussed. And obviously he knows, but that's stuff as the public we don't know. What if George Zimmerman
he's acquitted, and he's gonna he's such a fucking animal. He's gonna make money just like O.J. Simpson did, doing a documentary calling it "If I Did It."
Of course.
If I did it.
This is how I do it.
Oh my God.
Do you think that at some point somebody is going to take this George Zimmerman stuff and make a documentary out of it? Do you think we'll see this on TV?
I'm surprised we haven't seen it already.
Seen it already?
I'm shocked we haven't seen it already, yeah.
I agree. It's one of those
I just think he's a psycho dude. He's a savage, and I think they let him get off scot-free, and that's problematic for somebody who now feels like they can run the world, right? And double jeopardy exists here, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, it until he fucks up again, I think it's almost gonna be like the O.J. Simpson thing. Like, George Zimmerman will slip again at some point, like O.J. did with the Las Vegas
He keeps slipping.
thing.
That's the whole point. He keeps slipping.
Yeah.
The question is, when is he gonna slip enough again to fucking seriously end up and serve some serious time?
We all can agree though he's gonna lose this lawsuit, right?
Yeah, it's $100 million.
I don't see.
There's no way.
It's $100 million, bro. Come on, bro.
Like,
for mental,
unless they get
anxiety.
Unless they get a super racist judge. Unless they get a super, and even then, it's not going to be $100 million.
Well, he's got a lawyer that has completely been against. So he's suing based off of a book that was a conspiracy theory about the whole case. And this guy literally has run with this and is like, oh yeah, I should say I have anxiety and all this stuff from it, and he's suing the family, saying that the victims, saying that he's fucking under mental distress, and I think
what it is
like
that his
some
name
other
hasn't
type of
been
psycho
in
man.
media or news for a few years now, or for a little over.
Oh, he loves it. He just wants the spotlight. He doesn't care about anything but just hearing his name.
Yeah. And of course he'll get some money, some publicity. Somebody's gonna want some interviews. Why are you doing this? Well, I'll tell you if you give me $5,000, and I'll do your show. I'll do your TV show. Yada yada yada, like shit like that. So the guy's a sociopath. He's a fucking narcissist. He's an idiot. He's a goddamn fool. And rest in peace, Trayvon. Excuse me.
Facts. That's it for today, people.
It's been real.
The voicemail lines will be open whenever we're not live, whenever we're not doing anything. So hit us up 442-244-9900 or toll free 844-997-0775. You can leave voicemails, give your thoughts on anything that you're listening to, and we will potentially use that on a future episode or anything like that. We will use your voice, use the recording. So just so that you know, we will potentially use that content. Hit us up. Let us know. Give us your thoughts about anything that we've talked about. We're looking forward to it.
Take it easy.
See you soon.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.